Hi, and welcome to the 2022 State of the City Address. I'm Mike Mason, Mayor of Peachtree Corners. First, let me assure you the state of the city is still great. In fact, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year, which is a particularly good occasion to reflect on what we've done, our course of activity over the past 10 years. As most of you may know, most of the development in this area was done by a gentleman named Paul Duke during the 70s and 80s. So after 50 years, things were starting to look a little in need of redevelopment. So that's why, since the very beginning, we've adopted a balanced approach, some new development, some redevelopment, to our efforts. Because, as you know, empty office parks, empty strip malls attract crime and the kind of undesirable businesses that can reduce a otherwise attractive area and reduce our property values. As usual, we're going to be taking a tour of the city this year and see what's changed. What's going to be a little different this year is your tour guide's going to be our Mayor Pro Tem, Ware Gratwood. Ware?
Thank you, Mike. It is my honor to be able to show you the city and update you on some of our existing projects, talk about some of the new things we have going on, as well as some of the things we completed this year. Why don't we head up to Town Center first? I'm here at the Town Green where our new playground equipment has been installed this year, and it's been a big hit. Equipment is designed for children a little bit older, ages 5 to 12, and includes some equipment designed specifically for special needs children. It also includes Qantas, this large contraption behind me that I understand there are only 3 of these in the United States. There's places for parents to sit, and there'll be a permanent shade structure once it comes in. Now, let's head across Town Green because there's something interesting that's come out of Curiosity Lab that I'd like to show you. Behind me is Urban Canopy, created and paid for by a company of the same name. Urban Canopy came to the city through Curiosity Lab and the French-American Chamber of Commerce, and they were looking for a place to demonstrate their product. This is the first in the United States. Here they've built a framework that will host a vegetated shade covering, which provides a built-in irrigation system. Just one of several exciting projects coming out of Curiosity Lab, our Innovation Hub and Outdoor Living Laboratory, which we will see later. This summer, as we celebrated our 10th anniversary, many events were held at the Town Green. One of the biggest was the Peachtree Corners Festival. It was a big hit and included a concert, music, food, car show, arts and craft vendors. I'm told that attendance may have been the highest ever. We're on the pedestrian bridge heading over to the Forum, which will be the site of the city's largest redevelopment project to date. It is really hard to believe the Forum is over 20 years old now and in need of some attention. Vacancies had gotten to 25%. We're threatening to go higher. Everyone agreed we needed to do something to save it. Following the sale of the property to North American Properties, the company that also did Avalon and Atlantic Station, a solution was proposed to the council and approved. With the approval, there was a difference of opinion about the role housing should play in the redevelopment plan, specifically apartment housing. In the end, a majority of the council felt additional housing was necessary to create the energy needed to support and improve our shops and restaurants at the Forum and offset the headwinds of changes in retail that have been accelerating since the pandemic. One of the restaurateurs once shared with me several years ago that one of his top customers were not actually Peachtree Corners residents, but rather Intuitive Surgical employees. Doctors travel here and stay at our hotels while training on the robotic surgical devices that Intuitive produces, and they eat at our restaurants while they're here, supporting our restaurants and shops. It illustrates the point that our residents are not enough to fully support our businesses. We need those visitors from surrounding communities, people who work here but live outside Peachtree Corners, as well as additional residents. Phase 1 of North American Properties' plan includes enhancements to the middle of the Forum. where they will relocate parking and create interactive community spaces, including a small green space and a food hall with outdoor seating. Phase 2 will include new apartments, which will be located behind the landscaping off of Peachtree Parkway. This landscaping will remain in place, with apartments behind where the pavement starts. Phase 3 will include a new boutique hotel to be located on the other side of Forum Drive, between the main entrance and the bridge. Speaking of housing, the current environment of rising interest rates, higher home values in our community, and the lack of available land to build, combined with an increased demand to live near where we work, there is a strong demand for apartments. There have been a few proposed to the council recently. Some the council has approved, and some the council has denied. We expect the demand for housing to remain strong, and unfortunately, we can't draw a circle around the city and say, no apartments here. That's just not legal. However, there is a state-mandated requirement that every city rewrite its land use plan every 10 years, and that is where we want to engage your input. The mayor and council have decided we would like to place an increased emphasis on the housing component of the plan and need your input. You will be able to help us decide where housing should go and where it should not. Once the comprehensive plan kicks off early next year, there will be opportunities to participate through various channels, including community forums and online. At these forums, you can learn more about questions such as when you talk about land use decisions, what are the legal constraints we work under, how much housing do we need, and what impacts do apartments have on a community. There are a couple of other noteworthy developments around town, and since we're on the topic of housing, we're at a residential development at Waterside that is geared towards empty nesters and includes homes that are designed with small lots, master bedrooms down, and elevator options. The project currently consists of both single-family units and townhomes. Eventually, there will be independent and assisted living units to meet the needs of an aging population. Amenities will include pickleball courts designed for active empty nesters. And I am told the buyers are who we expected them to be, active adults whose children have left the nest. We have plenty of single-family homes with large lots and lots of kids on the block that have always been attracted to families in Peachtree Corners. Now let's move along to one of the most exciting development projects in Peachtree Corners, and all of Gwinnett County for that matter. Another redevelopment initiative here in Peachtree Corners has been Intuitive Surgical bringing their East Coast headquarters here. As a reminder, they are bringing over 1,200 jobs with an average salary of over $130,000 and investing over $600 million, creating a state-of-the-art medical campus. Additionally, they will be bringing over 19,000 hotel visits annually to Peachtree Corners. Construction of the new Intuitive Surgical campus is well underway and local recruiting has already begun. We are approaching a point where we will have more jobs in the city than residents, which is a sign of a healthy, vibrant community. Of course, with that comes challenges, and we will need to continue to have to strive to meet the right balance of growth and preservation of the things that make us the great city to live in now. If you've been in Simpsonwood Park lately, you probably noticed the Wolf Creek lift station improvement. While this is a county project and not a city project, it is a much-needed upgrade to the sewer that serves the northwest quadrant of our city. The project includes upgrades to the sewer line and lift station and the installation of a large underground emergency holding tank. This is not a sexy project, but it is one that will ensure that we will have ample sewer capacity and no interruptions to service. The sewer system is currently as it was before a lot of our existing neighborhoods were even in place. The county plans to replant trees before the project is completed. I am walking along Corners Connector, one of the first completed sections of our Corners Connector, which is a 25-mile trail system that will go in and around the city. I am standing in Tech Park between Technology Park South and Technology Parkway. This will eventually connect to the town center, the bridge, and the Forum, providing safe access for pedestrians throughout the city. I'd also like to show another section that is underway and one that is about to kick off. Another component of the Corners connector will be the Crooked Creek Trail, which initially will go between Holcomb Bridge and Outer Peachtree Corners Circle. Then it will come from Outer Peachtree Corners over here to Spalding Drive, where I am right now. While we are here, let me give you an update on our Redevelopment Authority. As you may recall, this is the group charged with developing options for redevelopment along Holcomb Bridge Road and Outer Peachtree Corners Circle. Their recommendations will be presented at a city council meeting later this year, so I encourage you all to attend. Let me give you a basic overview of what they are considering. We're trying to create a catalyst for redevelopment. This may range from buying an older commercial property along Holcomb Bridge Road and revitalizing it, to taking a lesson from the successful Atlanta Beltline and expanding the Crooked Creek Trail to include some boardwalk plazas, which might have food trucks, a small concert stage, and a small park. The point is to create some amenities, which creates economic activity to encourage the development community to invest private funds in redevelopment. The mayor and council are very appreciative of the thoughtfulness and the work done by our fellow citizens on the Redevelopment Authority and look forward to seeing their final report. As you can see, we are almost completed with the 1.74 mile stretch of multi-use trail along East Jones Bridge. If you recall the mayor's presentation from last year, when he talked about Atlanta Regional Commission's Chattahoochee Riverlands project, this will be part of a 150-mile stretch of multi-use trails from Buford Dam all the way down to Noonan. Our project will have a pedestrian crossing at Johns Creek, and discussions are already underway with the city of Johns Creek. As you may know, the city created Curiosity Lab here in Tech Park, and it's been very successful. Since the city created Curiosity Lab, it's attracted numerous businesses and thousands of jobs. And this despite the stay-at-home trend that was created with the pandemic. Initially created as a business incubator known as Prototype Prime, Curiosity Lab was founded when our staff discovered there was a missing second step in the evolution of technology, particularly with autonomous vehicles. There was the initial phase, the controlled lab, the crawl space, if you will, and the run space, which would be active in users. But there wasn't a place to test with variables in place, the walk space, if you will. Curiosity Lab has grown to something that sets us apart from all other cities in the world. Curiosity Lab is a 5G-enabled living laboratory for testing and developing smart city IoT, or Internet of Things, and mobility. There is no other place that has all these components in one place. Let me highlight a couple of exciting things that have come out of Curiosity Lab in the past year. The first company I'd like to highlight has created software that provides drones the ability to remotely tie together rebar in a construction project. Currently, rebar is set and tied manually before concrete is poured. The software allows drones to complete this part of the construction faster, safer, and for less money than the manual process. Finally, we have a company that is testing an innovative underground delivery system. They have funded the installation of underground piping that will run along Technology Parkway from Curiosity Lab, across Spalding Drive to the Peachtree Parkway Shopping Plaza. They have leased space in the development and will be testing the delivery of packages and food. As a result of their testing here in Curiosity Lab, they plan to install their underground delivery system in a new 300-home subdivision in Austin, Texas, where deliveries can be made from a hub outside the community directly to each home. While we're here at Curiosity Lab, I'd like to show you the site that will become the city's electric vehicle multi-modal center right here on Technology Parkway. I'm currently standing on the future site of the city's multi-modal center right here on Technology Parkway. We're adjacent to the old Honeywell building site, next door to Atlanta Tech Park, across from Anderby's and down the street from Spalding Animal Hospital. The city has purchased this site, and as you can see from the renderings, is planning to build a combination trailhead for multi-use trails, a site for food trucks, and an EV charging station for all things electric, including autos, last-mile e-bikes, and e-scooters. The design for the facility includes the installation of solar panels, allowing for the charging of vehicles using solar power. The site will also serve as an amenity for our businesses located in and around Tech Park. Another benefit that we have derived from Curiosity Lab is our fast charging hub at Town Center. It is one of the largest charging station hubs in Georgia and the largest that is not located directly off a major highway. Now let me turn your attention to the most important responsibility of local government, public safety. As you know, rather than create our own departments, we contract with Gwinnett County to provide police, fire, and 911 services. However, that does not mean that we are not involved. Last year, we launched a license plate reading camera program in cooperation with Gwinnett County Police's Digital Policing Department. It began with 26 locations and now has expanded to approximately 50. We have also installed 100+ cameras at the town center, so we can be confident our kids are as safe as they can be while visiting downtown. As added security, during the evening, we have an off-duty police officer monitoring the camera feeds from an on-site substation. This year, the city is adding a program that will allow Gwinnett County Police access to feeds from our cameras at much greater speeds. As you may know, Gwinnett County Police already has access to hundreds of cameras throughout the metro area. To support that network, the city is partnering with a local Peachtree Corners company, Fusus. Fusus, through its software, has created a real-time crime center in the cloud. The software allows businesses to register and connect the hundreds and thousands of private cameras that are already in place to provide police access to live footage if a crime has been committed. A lot of crimes have already been solved and property recovered using this technology. As an additional layer, residents are able to register their own cameras, including doorbell cameras, to create a camera registry for the local police. This program will create a local map of camera locations for Gwinnett County Police in the event they are canvassing a crime scene. This program is entirely voluntary, but I encourage local businesses and citizens to participate in the program. Together, we can make everybody safer. For more information, you can contact City Hall. Building on public safety, let me update you on a couple of traffic projects that are either underway or just getting kicked off. I'm at Bush Road and Medlock Bridge, the site of a long delayed intersection improvement project that's been plagued by supply chain issues and utility relocation delays. When it is done, it will look great and will allow us to update the slip ramp on the corner heading north on 141, which we think will be a big improvement to the area. We are also planning improvements at the intersection of East Jones Bridge and 141. There will be longer stacking lanes for traffic on East Jones Bridge, turning either north or south onto Peachtree Parkway, as well as creating a slip lane heading south on Peachtree Parkway between the light at Wellington Subdivision and the Northside Medical Building just south of Quick Trip, where the right turn lanes are currently located. Finally, the widening of Spalding Drive over Crooked Creek between Holcomb Bridge and Winters Chapel is nearing its completion. We expect this project to be completed by the end of this year. High property values and a low crime rate are not the only measures of how well a city is doing. Because green space is important to us, we earmark dollars out of our projected SPLOST fund every year for the purchase and maintenance of green space. We have also applied for grants with GDOT that will give us the opportunity to make needed upgrades at the Paul Duke sign located off Peachtree Industrial Boulevard coming north into the city, and design a new comparable monument on the north end of town at the triangle at Medlock Bridge and 141. The monuments will incorporate the lanterns utilized on the pedestrian bridge. Ultimately, our capital budget includes plans to eventually establish these monuments at all of the main arteries into the city. These enhancements reflect our city pride and let folks know when they are entering Peachtree Corners. A couple of last stops on our tour and I'll get us back to City Hall. But I wanted to highlight a couple of areas where the city has been able to improve our schools and recreation areas through the use of pandemic relief funds. At Pinckneyville Park, we were able to rebuild batting cages and replace old fencing in the county-owned park that serves our youth. We have provided funds to both our elementary schools, and Pinckneyville Middle School is about to embark on replacing the track and field area that is in much need of attention. And the city helped fund improvements at the YMCA and to complete our adult workout facilities at the Town Green, all to help us maintain an active, healthy lifestyle. The county is also investing some of its pandemic relief funds into Jonesbridge Park, another great amenity we enjoy. Of course, we earlier visited Simpsonwood Park, where the city was able to team up with the county about 5 years ago to preserve 227 acres of green space. And speaking of an active outdoor lifestyle, we're at a longtime staple of Peachtree Corners in a facility that was built over 40 years ago. The old Peachtree World of Tennis was built in the 1980s, and like so much of what we've talked about today, was in need of a refresh. Lifetime Athletic came in about 10 years ago and redeveloped the property. This year, Lifetime Athletic hosted the State of Georgia Amateur Tournament for the first time after it was previously played in Macon. This venue was also the site of the Atlanta Open, a USTA professional tournament held here for the top U.S. players when other locations were not available due to the pandemic. Finally, Lifetime hosted a national pickleball tournament here this past summer. Tying into the theme of redevelopment, I want to turn your attention to the quad recently built by Cornerstone Christian Academy, one of the many excellent school choices our residents have in addition to the excellent public schools here. Also, this past year, the mayor and council approved a project that allows Wesleyan to relocate its softball field to allow for the expansion of its current facilities. And did you know we had an international charter school for parents who want their children to be immersed in the Japanese language while in elementary school, right here in Peachtree Corners? The school currently has 200 students with plans to enroll up to 300. The school relies on grants and voluntary donations to operate. It has been my pleasure to tour the city with you today. Thank you for your attention. Mike, you're right. The city is in great shape and in great hands.
Thanks, Ware. Great job. I think you can see why I say the state of the city is still great. After 10 years, there's a lot to be proud of. And it's not just due to a great city council, but to the balanced approach to new development and redevelopment that we've followed for the past 10 years. Thanks for joining us today. Stay safe. Hope to see you around the city. Thanks.